Hey guys, it's DC, and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary where all soap lovers are welcome. This is my Hollyoaks review, Mommy Dearest. I have not done a Hollyoaks review in about a few weeks or so, but being on Candace Max Live, well, in the comment section at least, I felt inspired to do a Hollyoaks review. Because you know the thing is about my international soaps, I always wonder on this channel if there is an audience for them. But I always feel like sometimes in life you have to create the content, the audience will come. My Skim Song reviews, they've actually done pretty well than I've seen from other folks who do Skim Song reviews too. But it's not about that, but it's just like I said, I feel like you create the content, the audience will come. Anyways, let's get into this Hollyoaks review, Mommy Dearest. Norma being, there's a lot I'm going to catch up on. I'm almost going off like 2 weeks worth in this 1 week's review. Norma being Warren's mom was such a twist I did not see coming. And something I realized about Hollyoaks, because there'll be times I'll be watching the episode for that day, and then the next day, and that same day, they're posting like scenes from the next episode. I'm like, don't they know they're spoiling it for the audience? But they're not spoiling it. I thought that Hollyoaks post the episode of Monday's episode on Friday. So now I know to catch that, stay in the loop. Now I know. All right, which means they're always a day ahead. That's not what that tells me. They're always a day ahead, which is good because that means now I can do my reviews on Thursday for Hollyoaks or Friday morning or so. But Norma being Warren's mom, guys, this is a question I'm asking myself with the storyline with Norma being Warren's mom. Is she truly Warren's mom, or is this just a ploy that she's using to control Warren? Because it seems weird that even though Norma's all about no emotions and not getting attached, it seems very weird that if she wasn't Warren's mom and she knew this for a long time, that she would send him to go kill his son, Joel. If she knew she was his mom. That seems weird. But is this a way for her to control Warren to get to Sienna and stay? That's what I'm wondering. And I appreciate when Stay said to Sienna, like, you know, I want no parts of this because I don't have the protection like you have, being the mother of Warren's children. The love of his life. I'm not the love of his life, so what's gonna be there to protect me? Which I like that Stay had that mindset. And here's the thing too, keeping that in mind. Just bridging it to Stay and James. I feel like James actually made a really mature decision to say to Stay, listen, like, I have so much issues going in my life. I don't think we should be together. Your life will be a mess with me in it. And Stay got mad and upset. I understand because he was willing to go against the grain. But that's why you don't go against your own intuition. The scenes that we had with James this week where he was sitting there under the rubble and he saw the images of his son, Donna, and Stay, the love of his life. It was a very touching scene. I feel like James wants to be a good man. I really feel like he does. And it's crazy how James is a little bit of a deadbeat. But his son Romeo loves him so much. Romeo stands 10 toes down for James. He stands 10 toes down for him. And it was interesting seeing when he was underneath that rubble and all those images of the people that he loves, from Donna, from Stay, the love of his life, and Romeo, his son. It was weird. Interesting that Juliet was not there. But I get the feeling they're a little strange, those two. Someone could maybe like bring up to speed on that. But seeing those scenes, it was like, you know, because James really wanted to change, but it was naive of him to think that he was going to go to Norma, snitch on her to the police, and there was going to be no backlash and no repercussions. That was a bit naive of James to think that, I feel like, in my opinion. I mean, if I was doing someone like Norma, those kind of people, they have their bases covered. Trust me, that's how they stay functioning for so long. They've got their bases covered. You don't know where those bases are at, but they've got their bases covered, you know? But I feel like James is really looking out for Stay, so I feel like Stay was very childish in the end for not understanding that. And that's why because if he's able to have that conversation with Sienna and say to her, what's going to protect me? You know, the kind of person Norma is. Why don't you understand that with James? You know, and what I think I didn't like is that when James wasn't there at the spot they were supposed to be at after the carnival, he instantly assumed James stood him up. And instead of giving James the benefit of the doubt, this man just went and snitched on the police to like a whole entire crime lord. And your whole thing is thinking he stood you up? Not even giving him the benefit of the doubt. So what are you going to do about that? Not even giving this man the benefit of the doubt. All right, next I want to move on to Sid leaving. Sid kind of reminds me of like a Robin Scorpio complex on the show. Sid the Savior. That's why I call him Sid the Savior. Always trying to save everyone. Sid leaving on the show feels very bittersweet because I feel like the show has to have that one character who is like a moral. I don't know if I call Sid the moral center of the show. I've only watched him for a couple of months, but I think you have to have that one character that's just somewhat of a moral center amongst all the other characters. And Sid was that from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything else. Sid is not innocent by no means, but he's somewhat more of a moral center on the show. So I wish Sid could stay, and the fact that he saved James in the end. You see, his last heroic act before he left Hollyoaks, was he saved James. See, I just love Sid's character, guys. I love it. I love Sid's character, but I don't know why the actor is leaving the show. If they wrote him out, they didn't have much more story for him to tell. I don't know, but I do like that they wrote him in a way where he could come back. Now, I do love that his relationship with Lizzie was still kind of intact, and she understood why he was leaving. He's such a pure soul. He's a pure soul on the show, guys. Sid is a pure soul on this show. Next I want to get into is Verity's brother, Eric. I didn't know that Eric was Verity's brother until this week. I wasn't aware of that, because I'm still catching on to who's who. I understand the Chen Williams family. I know them now by heart. I know who everybody is. I'm aware of it all. The McQueens, I'm aware of them all now at this point too. What are the other families? I can't remember. Felix, DeMarcus, and them, I'm aware of who they are now too as well. Verity's brother Eric and his creepiness, and the whole thing with him sending the photos of that girl from the high school out to everyone else in the school, and him misleading Mason, because I feel like what he's trying to do is set Mason up for the fall. Then Mason will be Cindy's stalker, and that's why he gave Mason that mask. He's setting Mason up, and Mason don't even realize it. And that's why sometimes in life, you gotta be careful when you be talking to. Some people don't have your best interests at heart. And Eric does not have that for Mason. Definitely does not. And Verity, as a lawyer, you would think she'd be more in tune to her brother's ways, but she literally has no idea. She has no clue what kind of a creep her brother is. We're gonna see how this plays out. This might be a super short review, guys, by the way. Super short review. All right. One of the biggest storylines we've seen this past 2 weeks is Bobby killing Silas. Silas coming on was reminding me of James Franco when he came to GH with the mind games and serial killing stuff and the carnival carousal and all that stuff. I loved it. I loved it when Bobby killed Silas. Bobby is definitely a little bit of a psycho. But you know what? Mercedes stood 10 toes down for her son. She knows her son is crazy, but she stood 10 toes down for him. Loyalty is a big thing. You don't take sides against the family. But she stood for her son, especially when Goldie was trying to say, "Oh, you little psycho, eh? Get your little psycho son, get out here, eh?" But this is my whole thing with Goldie. She knows if it was Prince or Hunter, I believe, the names of her sons, she would stand 10 toes down for them too. She knows she would. She knows she would stand 10 toes down for them too. So even though what Bobby did was crazy, put a lot of people in danger, he did a lot of crazy stuff. From a mother's perspective, you think she would understand why Mercedes is still sticking up for her son. Because one, I think that's the only child Mercedes has, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of the day, her father, Silas, was a psycho. And she's trying to protect her son. I get it. I get it. And it was nice to see the McQueens all band together afterwards to... especially when they're trying to save Goldie, not Goldie, but Mercedes and Olivia, which Olivia didn't deserve to be saved. Prince needs to leave Olivia at this point. I think she's definitely established she's not to be trusted. When she tried to blackmail John Paul and now working with Silas, Olivia just needs to be done. She just needs to be done at this point. If Prince still wants to be with Olivia at this point, he deserves everything that he gets. That's my opinion on that. He's gonna deserve everything that he gets at that point. But I feel like it was nice to see the Queens all stick together, which this is something I want to talk about in regards to Hollyoaks. One thing I love about international soaps, and I remember Kenneth Mack talked about this, and I was in. So pretty much it was, sorry guys, the video cut off, so I had to re-record over in the second half. One of the things that we talked about, and Kenneth talked about in her live, and I was commenting in the chat, was that the difference with American soaps and international soaps is American soaps are all about fantasy, everyone's super rich, because on soaps, American soaps, the main occupations you always see is like a lawyer, doctor, or business mogul, right? That's something you always pretty much see throughout all soaps. Whereas on British soaps or even the other international soaps, there's other careers being shown. right? Which I can appreciate that. It brings for a sense of realism. Um, Now, granted, do I know people who are entrepreneurs and stuff like that? Yeah, but it's not everybody who knows people like that. I mean, if you want to be real, or at least have people like that in their arsenal, or at least that you know of. I don't know. But I feel like there's other careers being shown on these shows, and it gives it a sense of realism for me. I mean, if you think of Hollyoaks, one of their biggest sets, one of their most focal sets is the school. The school is one of their focal sets on the show. I don't see that in General Hospital. I don't see that in Young and the Restless. I don't see that in Bold and Beautiful. I don't see that in Days of Our Lives. I do see that on Scheme Psalm. Turf Loop High is one of the focal sets of the show. I don't see that anywhere else. Or Charles' Spaza Shop is one of the focal parts of that on Scheme Psalm. Okay, well, Hollyoaks, they got the school. They've got Felix and Warren's garage. I forgot the couple, the one who owns the restaurant, the coffee house. Forgot their name. But see, you see these things. So there's other things being shown on these shows that I can appreciate, the sense of realism, because American soaps really provide a lot of people with a sense of fantasy, especially from the early 90s, whereas international soaps don't do that. It's more of like everyday people, like real everyday people that you can actually envision. However, there's nothing wrong with that fact that American soaps do that and international soaps do. It's just the difference in how they approach, how they write for their characters and their storytelling. But I also think it's a reflection of their culture and their values and what they value. Just being real. Not saying one value is greater than the other, but I think it is. Because, I mean, let's be real. In the United States, people do more value a lot more materialistic things and wealth and money. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. But that, to me, that just feels like that's a clear value here. Whereas other places, yes, they value that, but it's not as much. If that makes sense. So I feel like on Hollyoaks, I was really happy to be able to see that different type of dynamic. All right, moving into DeMarcus. DeMarcus is finally free. Finally. I thought this was going to go on for months, but he's finally free. I'm glad that now we're aware that it's Joseph, but it just feels a little lackluster. It wasn't given the impact I wanted to give, but I'm happy that I do want to see a scene with Grace and DeMarcus actually sing down, because that bootleg apology she gave while DeMarcus and his dad were out to eat, that didn't cut it. I want to see an actual apology go down between Grace and DeMarcus. I want to see her actually apologize because she really was about to shoot this boy. And I'm happy that Grace has learned from it not to go off the rails with Joseph. But when Joseph tore up that thing that her son wrote for Saul, I was like, whoa. There's no F's given with Joseph. Joseph has no F's to give. None. He has no S to give at this point. So it's interesting to see that type of dynamic go down the show. But I think I pretty much just, I think that's about everything, guys. I think I'm pretty much about covered, guys. Guys, sorry, these reviews I'm doing this week are a little bit quicker. I am going to be doing a live later on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys can catch that. I'm going to be discussing wine, R&B, and of course, everything in between. You know, it's a live. It's a little more open-ended, obviously. So it's an opportunity for me to be able to connect with you guys, talk more about it. Also, guys, I did a serial killer skit. I'm going to post this video. Look at me, right? Shameless plug, right? But no, honestly, guys, you got to understand, when I do this channel, I'm creating this channel. I said I wanted to create, like, I've seen other people do soap reviews and stuff, and I was like, I wish this person would do this. I wish this person would do that. And I was like, because I remember growing up as a kid, me and my friends, they used to make fun of me liking soap, so we'd always act out these weird little soap skits and do it on post them on MySpace. Yeah, I was old at the time, right? But I've always wanted my soap channel to be fun. I always keep saying that. You know, I do these little skits, I do this little stuff. Like, this soap channel has encompassed so much, where I've done reviews on the soaps, I've done little itty-bitties, like, you know, cheesy skits that I've done interviews on this channel, which I don't even feel like I even talk about that enough. I had a whole interview with you know, it's so weird. I was looking through my email the other day and I was like, wow, I have the email. I have the contact information for a Hollywood director in my inbox. I have the contact information for a Hollywood director. It slept on me a little bit. And this channel has offered me a lot of opportunities and it's been very therapeutic for me, guys. I'm really grateful to this channel. And I created this channel in a way not to make this sound any type of narcissistic way or anything, but for people like me. Like, that's why I created it for. Because I was like, there's things I wanted to see done in soap reviews, and I was like, well, I could do them myself. I do the reviews, and I bring my own little taste, my own little twinge to it, right? So I think that's what makes it fun. You know, I believe in this channel being fun. Because, you know, I'm not really one for celebrity gossip or stuff like that, so, but I like to make this stuff fun. That's how I feel. I feel like this is supposed to be fun for me, and for me it is. You know, there's some weeks I can't do videos. I'm maybe off every other 2 weeks or so, but you know, this channel for me is fun to do. It's really fun to do. And so that's why I was like, I'll do a video today with no effects or anything like that. I'm just gonna do a straight talk through. And I think you guys can appreciate that. Because in the day, when anybody watches the channel, they're not there for the effects, the glimmer. Hell, sometimes after a while, they're probably no longer even there for the soap review. They're there for you at the end of the day. So anyways, guys, that is my Hollyoaks review. Mommy Dearest, I'm going to see you guys in the next one.